Salty Matox. This is Matox, the salty Matox. Welcome to the salt. Are you ready for the salt? Oh god. Enveloping Mist, Vivify, and it's all good. And then Rising Sun Kick to heal, Just feels smooth, man. And then I can go DPS if I want to DPS. If I don't want to DPS, it's fine. It's fine. I can just go take it easy and relax and heal people from far. But if I want to DPS, I go get some of that Tiger Palm, some of that Blackout Kicks, some of that Rising Sun Kick, them resets on Rising Sun Kick. I want to get them resets. I feel like right now what they did with Mistweavers, I feel they should somehow incorporate it to every other healer. I really do. To some extent they should incorporate it to every healer. Like the fact is that I should be meleeing anyways, because Mistweavers give you this buff, you see this Mystic Touch on a target that increases physical damage taken. So technically I should be hitting everyone with some melee abilities anyways. That buff only gets applied. That buff only gets applied when I hit someone with melee. So I technically should be going and, like, you know, in this moment getting that some of that AoE damage. You see that? And apply those debuffs on there. So so the DK can actually do some damage, and the warrior. Not a lot of melee classes here. Like I mentioned before, Renewing Mist has also become a bit more friendly. Like, let's see if I can try and override Renewing Mist. Like, look at this. This guy has Renewing Mist. It's still a little bit buggy. If I'm about to override with another Renewing Mist, it should jump. You see that? It jumped to the DK instead of overriding. So this was like Blizzard's way of, hey Mistweavers, we know that Renewing Mist can sometimes like jump from target to target and like catch you out. You're like, you know, I'm about to place a Renewing Mist and like all of a sudden Renewing Mist jumps to that target. So quality of life. I love them quality of lives. It's all about the quality of life. Basically I'm trying to apply that buff so people can take that damage. Rising Sun Kick. Plus the fact that I'm playing the melee build, so my Blackout Kick restores mana, It's important. So what I usually do is I get my Stone Friend, my good old Stone Friend. I put Soothing Mist on the tank and then re-roll. Re-roll, boys. With DPS. We roll for as long as we can. Oh, I got Rising Sun. I always use Thunder Focus Tea to... I'm gonna use Thunder Focus Tea on the Renewing Mist, so my Renewing Mist is longer and it's gonna keep rolling. It's probably not gonna be the way to play in best case circumstances, but I'm using Renewing Mist on cooldown. Because why not? I'm DPSing, I'm using Rising Sun Kick, and then I make sure that my hots are rolling. Oh, look at this, my Stone Friend is not channeling anymore. Stone Friend usually forgets sometimes to channel. He needs to be reminded. I'm gonna use Thunder Focus Tea on a... Yeah, I'll probably use it again. Oh, my deeps is so good, man! What's going on? I'm beating so many people. Why? Oh, I got it. So I'm using Enveloping. It's a bit of damage. I'm using Enveloping Mist. Rising Sun Kick. And there you go. Back to the spam. Back to the deep spam. I'm using Rising Sun Kick with Thunder Focus Tea. So I got 2 Rising Sun Kicks there. I feel the DPS component to Mistweavers feels pretty good. I feel the DPS component for Mistweavers feels good. Overall, I like what they did with Mistweavers. I'm a bit sad that Druids didn't get it. Like, honestly, I'm gonna go on a rant about Resto Druids now. Like, I really don't like the 15-second rejuve. I really don't like the 50-second rejuve. I can barely pre-hot. Of course, the lag has a big effect on that. But I can barely pre-hot. When I pre-hot, I go into my kitty form. I go into the kitty form. I do a couple of swipes. Then people take damage, and then I look at them like, it's fine. They have rejuvenation on them. They don't. Rejuvenation has run out. And all of a sudden, in the kitty form, I'm like, do I want to go out of kitty form to heal them? Because I need to constantly rejuve. Because of the slow duration or little duration. And then the fact is that Mistweavers get something that extends the duration of their hots and Druids don't. And also the fact that kitty form feels so terrible right now with without the feral ring and without the boomkin shoulders. Like, honestly, to have a fun DPS as a healer, as a druid, you need that boomkin late in the child and that Chatoyant ring. And now that you don't have it, it's literally like 3 swipes and that's it. Like, goodbye. Okay, I'm gonna possibly die here now. It's not hard, dude. It's good. I'm gonna stun, man. I need to apply that buff. Buff needs to be applied. You have to remember that Mistweavers also give 5% increased physical damage, but you need to apply it. Like, I need to apply it right here. Oh, I can't get out of this route. It's so stupid, man. I can't even shapeshift out of it. Let's go Rising Sun Kick. Let's do it, man. Like, how many healers, if you really think about it, how many healers right now have a decent weighted DPS? So if you look at Holy Paladin's got the Avenging Crusader, which is, you know, and Divine Purpose is in like tier 100. Oh, I'm dead, man. I had to use the thing. Oh my god, I hate this mob so much. So Holy Paladin's got Avenged Crusader, which kind of builds into the Shocking build. Shocking build is alive and well, to be honest. Like, Divine Purpose is there. You also have that. What is that talent? That is the Legendary Helm. I think it's like Light of Dawn has a chance to cause wings. So basically, you have the Shocking build, possibly Shocking build, where you try and deal as much damage as possible, and it feels alright. It feels good. Like, there's rewards. There's rewards for doing that. You can technically use Holy Shock offensively, defensively. That feels great. Honestly, that feels great. The fact that you can use it for attacking or actually healing someone, you can decide. It feels good. I like that. So Holy Paladins always had this kind of Shock in the build, and Shock in the build is looking to be alive and well in BFA. At least right now. Then you have Discipline Priests, obviously, who are the quintessential DPS healers. So they're always going to be here. Actually, there's been some kind of a movement away from offensive penance. There's been a movement away from offensive penance, and rightly so, because Discipline Priests on fights where there was nothing to damage would feel so like lackluster. Or like, let's say bursting, after all the mobs are dead in Mythic Plus, and then like you have to deal with bursting and there's no one to attack. It kind of felt like very, very disadvantageous. Yeah, boys. To Discipline Priest. So now they got Contrition, which allows them to deal like substantial amount of defensive healing. So when you actually use Penance to heal a target. So that's actually pretty nice. So you're not kind of constricted to being like, oh, there always has to be someone for me to attack to deal damage, to deal healing. So that's kind of cool. I felt like, I can't believe that I didn't see that for the whole of Legion, like, because I didn't play a Discipline Priest. I didn't really see the disadvantages of Discipline Priest in certain fights. So that's kind of cool. Discipline Priest did a lot of damage. Holy Paladin has an option to deal damage. Discipline Priest has an option to deal damage. Mistweaver Monk has been a huge push for dealing damage and actually feeling great. So now you have Resto Druids, Holy Priests. Holy Priests have ways of, what is it, chastise? Like lowering their DPS stun. But I mean, come on, it doesn't feel that great. It honestly doesn't feel that great. It honestly doesn't feel that great. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, it's so fun. Look at this guy. I need to bring this guy up. So you have Holy Priests, Resto Druids, and Resto Shamans, who, you know, might not have the best ways of dealing damage or the most fun ways of dealing damage, and feeling like they get a reward from that. And they get a reward from that. It doesn't feel like that at the moment. At least in Legion or even BFA, it doesn't feel like that. So you have 3 healers who don't really feel great in terms of dealing damage and getting something in return, and then you have 3 healers who legitimately have a fun DPS rotations while healing. I don't know if Blizzard is trying to do 3 and 3. Do you think Blizzard is trying to do 3 and 3 here? I don't know. Did I apply the debuff on him? I did. So I'm not sure how to feel about this. I'm not sure if Blizzard maybe will implement. In my eyes, if I'm being completely honest. In my eyes, if I'm being completely honest, I would want every healer to have an option to DPS and heal. I would want every healer to have an option to heal. In perfect world. Like, it doesn't have to be baked into the spec. It can be talents. It can be talents that you're like, okay, you can go and deal DPS if you want. Because there's always, because when I made that video, so I made that video, should healers DPS? And a lot of people were angry. A lot of people were saying like, oh, I hate DPS and stuff like that as a healer. I don't DPS, I refuse to DPS as a healer. They were saying, like, some of the people were saying this, which is just ridiculous. The meta right now is all about healers DPSing in high keys and normal keys, whatever. The meta right now is all about healer DPS. I enjoy contributing to the overall progress of a group. I enjoy that. It's not like that, I'm a healer, I refuse to DPS. I know there are people who feel like that. I know there are people who play a healer and they don't want to DPS. They play a healer just to heal. They don't care about contributing to they don't care about they don't want to press DPS buttons. And I can see the perspective as well. The meta has changed though. If you want to do high keys, you will have to DPS. If you want to do high keys, you will have to DPS. There's no way out of it. You will have to DPS. But I just, with that video that I made, I just wanted to say, literally wanted to say, why not give a direct incentive? Why not lower cooldowns? Why not lower healing cooldowns when you DPS? Why not extend the duration of your HOTS when you DPS? Things like that. Small things. They don't even have to be big things. Small things would be enough for a healer to be, or they don't have to be mandatory as well. They can be talents. They can be talents like in tier 45 and well, that's actually pretty big talents right now. I don't know. This is the way that I feel. I need to cast my Soothing Mist. My good old Soothing Mist. Feels so good. Rising Sun Kick. I didn't get no reset. I didn't get reset on Rising Sun Kick. Oh, I got reset now. I wonder if Blizzard actually is going to make that. Because like they changed Mistweavers. I wonder if they're going to look at Resto Druids, if they're going to look at Holy Priests and Resto Shamans. Like, to some extent, Resto Shamans have so much utility. Like, Resto Shamans have they're the only healer who can interrupt. They have AoE Stone. Of course, Mistweavers also have AoE Stone. They have a lot of cooldowns. They don't have they have Earth Shield now. Hopefully Earth Shield is going to be somewhat relevant. It's only 10% increased healing on the target, which I don't know if it's going to be enough or not. Definitely Resto Shaman needed some kind of a cooldown for single target, definitely. Hopefully Earth Shield, I'm hoping Earth Shield might get a little buff, or it might feel well, I don't know yet. But Resto Shamans definitely have quite a bit of utility if they had a really good, well, AG, Ancestral Guidance. Ancestral Guidance, you could DPS and get healing through it, but let's be honest, man. Ancestral Guidance, 2-minute cooldown. When you're doing a 5-man dungeon, a lot of the times you'll want like constant healing or something like that. I don't like having long cooldowns in 5-man dungeons. I like having constant throughput. But at the same time, I can see the appeal of long cooldowns. The problem with long cooldowns in terms of 5-mans and stuff like that, you need to know when to use them. Like, if you see MDI, if you look at Mythic Dungeon Imitation and stuff like that, a lot of Resto Druids went with Tree of Life. Because if you look at like Moss Souls and things like that, like they would pull the whole dungeon. They would put like it's 2 pulls or 3 pulls. So all of a sudden, like they will know exactly what pulls they're doing. So they'll be like, okay, as a Resto Druid, I will use my Tree of Life. I will use my Tree Form for the first big pull, and that should be enough for me to keep everyone alive. And then for the second pull, I'll use Tranquility or something like that. So you know exactly what's going on. For the other cooldowns, if you're using in PoVs, it's a different story, man. It's a different story. Like maybe the tank decides to pull the whole dungeon. Maybe the tank decides to pull 2 people. And all of a sudden you're stuck guessing there like, should I use my trank or tree or whatever? Should I have done it? I consider Tree of Life to be somewhat... not Tree of Life. This is not just for Tree of Life. This is for all 3-minute cooldowns. This is for all 3-minute cooldowns. Man, what? I'm beating the DPS. I'm beating the deeps. We caught the pig as well. There's also a lot of different talents for Mistweavers that are relevant as well. Like Upwelling is going to probably see some uses in raids as well. Upwelling is very, very interesting. Like you still have the choice between your Red Crane as well. You still have the choice of Red Crane and Refreshing Tradesman for stacked up fights and things like that. I have to see the numbers. I haven't looked at numbers. Like the fact is that Mistweavers also got like 45 is like a mana tier. It's like mana tier. So you have mana tea in 45 means you don't have to like for raids maybe mana tea is going to be the best if you don't go with the DPS build. So all of a sudden you can pick up mana tea and you don't have to sacrifice your tier 100 talent. In my eyes that's a win in terms of throughput. This guy's getting wrecked, man. Time to do that Soothing Mist spam. Time to do a Soothing Mist spam. Rising Sun kick. Oh, I didn't get a reset. Unfortunate. I'm not getting resets. I'm just gonna use Essence Font and then Rising Sun kick. Yeah, that worked well. I am not getting a lot of loot. Like, based on the numbers that I've seen and a lot of people in beta right now, Mistweavers and Priest in general are doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well in numbers wise, but the thing is, like, a lot of people say like, oh, a lot of people ask me like, which healer is the best? Like in terms of numbers. That is way too early to say. That is way too early to say. There's a high chance that next week numbers are gonna change. Someone is gonna get buffed. Like number tuning is gonna happen every week. They're possibly not going to add like, they're possibly not gonna add new talents or new abilities for like a Resto Druid or whatever. They said they're probably not gonna add new talents or big changes, but spell tuning happens every week. Every week. So looking at numbers right now at this stage in the beta is almost useless. It's almost useless. Looking at spell synergies, utility, defensives, DPS rotation, in terms of gameplay, in terms of fun, in terms of viability, that is something that you can do and be kind of secure about your guesses. Like, let's be honest. Oh yeah, you don't have to kill these. Is he gonna kill them? You can skip these. I got the MLG pulse here. You can skip these guys. I'm gonna put my oh, I'm clicking the wrong button. I'm gonna put my Mistweaver buff. My Mistweaver melee buff. Hopefully something's gonna drop. But either way, this has been like me talking about DPS as healers. I don't know how many people agree with this. I feel there's no point not to do it. Not to have talents to help you with DPS as a healer. Or contribute towards. I feel like there's like, you're not losing anything, do you know what I mean? If a healer wants to do DPS, they'll swap into that talent, just like Mistweaver. Mistweaver has the option to do it. They're not made to do it. They have an option to do it. They're not forced into going into melee. Unless the build becomes really, really strong, then maybe they'll be forced. You don't know. Maybe the melee build is going to be the only build in Mythic Plus. But it's not looking like that completely. No loot.